In this demonstration, we're going to look at the toggable tabs and see how we can add a quick and dynamic tab functionality in order to transition through content on the same location on a web page. So for that, we're going to go under the tab section. Below, there is a quick demonstration as to how to incorporate it by using JavaScript. But we're going to go straight to the markup because here we can also use HTML5 in order to action this plugin. Just like the collapse feature, it's possible to use the data attributes in order to action this plugin. So first we're going to look at the markup. It's divided into parts. Below we have the tab panes, which are connected to the nav tabs, which is created by using an unordered list. So right away we're going to check out the same example we have in our templates. So here we have on the top the nav tabs, which is an unordered list. Below we have the tab panes that includes different type of content, media, text, or images. Inside the nav tab, so each list items has an anchor tag, which has the data attributes data toggle, which will connect this HTML element to JavaScript, also which will trigger the action of the tab. Inside the anchor tag we find a target ID, which is going to correspond to the same ID inside a tab pane. So clicking on a tab will trigger the action of revealing the content inside the tab pane with the same ID. The active class will make the content revealed by default on the first view of the web page. Let's see the same example in the browser. So on the first tab we have a YouTube video, then we have an image, a list group, and finally a table. So by going back to the Bootstrap documentation, we're going to read also that this is possible that instead of having the tabs, we can also have the peels. This is the different options to display navigation. Here is a visual example of the nav peels. They look like rounded buttons wrapping the nav links. You can learn more about it by going to the CSS page under the navs section. You have the same example of the nav peels on the navbar of this demo template, demo_javascript.html. And for this demonstration, that's very straightforward because we can use the exact same markup and we just need to change some information. We will replace the action, so we're going to change from tabs to peel. So we're going to go back to our markup, so we're going to change all the data table from tab to peel for each of them, each list item. Finally, there is another change to do, which is the class of the unordered list. We're going to replace nav tabs with nav peels. And that's really all there is to it. So now that we've changed the markup, we're going to go check out the result now in our demo page. Here it is. So now we have nice peels in order to toggle through the content that we have inside this tab example. So coming as part of this plugin package, we also have the option to add a subtle fade effect. And really that's just a one-step process because what you need to do basically is to use one class, which is fade, and we're going to go back to our markup and we're going to add this to each tab pane. So now we're going to go check the difference on our page and we're going to see that when we click on the nav links, we're going to see that we transition through the content with a nice subtle fade effect. The only concern is that whenever we reload the page, the first element is not showing, and we're going to see why. So whenever we add the class of fade on an active page, we need to add the class in order to force this one to show by default whenever we view the page for the first time. So in that situation, the quick fix is for us to go back to our markup and we're going to add this class in on the first tab pane. And back in the browser, we're going to see that when we reload the page, we can right away see our YouTube video. And when we cycle through the different content, we have a nice fade effect. Back to the Bootstrap documentation, I want to show you that we can also use the option of adding a drop-down menu. And this is a solution that you can use if you have tons of information to include in a tab, although you cannot have as many tabs. So in order to save some space, you're going to use a drop-down menu in which you're going to regroup all the links. We're going to right away make a demonstration of a drop-down menu inside our tab example. So for that, we're going to use the last link, that we're going to replace. We're going to remove that link. We're going to replace this one with a drop-down menu. And to create a drop-down menu, we're going to insert an unordered list inside a list item. To make the process easier and smoother, I've already prepared some code, some lines of codes that are available at the bottom of this document. So you're going to scroll down before the script tags and you're going to go ahead and copy this piece of code from line 424 to 432. And then you're going to go back to the section for the tabs, and between this list items, so here where this starts, you're gonna actually erase all of that and replace with this code that we just copied. So I'm going to explain very quickly. So this new code, so here we have the link back for the table, which is linking to the media number 4. So here we can see that we have the target, media 4. And underneath, we've added an additional media. So that's another target, media 5, although we don't have the corresponding tab pane. So we're going to go ahead and create a new tab for this media 5 by simply copying from this one, because we're going to do something simple, and I'm going to add an image for this media. So right under the table, we're going to create another component for the media. I'm going to change this one from 2 to 5. Also, we're going to replace this image with another one. So whenever we click on that link for the media 5, we'll be able to see some tulips. So this entire new markup, the last list item, corresponds to the drop-down menu that includes those two new links. So we're going to check out Note in the browser to see how this works, how this looks. And here it is. So now we can see so far right that we have our new buttons more, and when we click on it, we have our drop-down menu. So first going to the table, and finally we're going to check out the new media, which are nice tulips.